I guess so. I guess it always says that. That's okay. That's alright. Alright, let's see. Swipe to see real-time performance. Interesting. Welcome in, everybody. We're going to be jumping into answering some questions today. Anything you're struggling with when it comes to self-growth, relationships, spirituality is welcome. I've helped over 100 men and women transform their lives, so we're here to help you guys out too. Amai, how are you? I'm doing good. How are you? Heisenberg, what's going on? Welcome back in. Anthony, what's going on? Welcome in, everybody. Joe. We just started the live like 10 seconds ago, so welcome in. Did I sleep well today? Honestly, not really. I did not. Oh, what's going on, YouTube? I just moved you by accident. Hold on, let me restructure this. Hold on. That's better. That's better. Alrighty, let's move this so you guys can see this beautiful background. Look at that. Look at that. What's going on, Brad? Welcome in, everybody. Feel free to ask some questions down below. We'll help you guys out. Thank you for reaching out in the DMs. Of course, Artie. Of course. Doing alright. How are you? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Blouse. Is that what you call this? Welcome in, everybody. Feel free to ask the initial questions down below and we'll get everything started. Start to help you guys out. Yeah, that was a crazy comment. TikTok flagged it. Not even gonna read that. Welcome in, everybody. Who's got the first few questions? Where am I from? I'm from the US. Is having gratitude for just being alive a healthy mind frame? It is. One of the things that I like to do for myself is when I wake up in the morning, before I get up and I start my day, start stressing, whatever the case is, whether it's a affirmation of thank you God, or it's just thank you for waking me up today. I'm grateful to be alive, right? Because there was a 1 in 400 trillion chance, according to science, that any one of us could have ever existed in the first place or had a chance of existing. And I don't want to take that for granted. I don't think you do either. So yeah, just being gratitude for being alive can give you a massive. It sets the frame for your day, and the state of consciousness that you'll be in. So it does a massive benefit to setting you up for, you could argue, success or a good frame for the rest of your day when it comes to productivity, fulfillment, contentment. So yeah, I'd highly recommend just doing that as an act of gratitude right when you get up in the morning. Perfect answer. I already knew it, but nice to hear it. Absolutely, yeah. Sometimes it's even if we know things for certain, hearing that we're not alone in believing that helps us out. Helps me out. It's part of our human nature. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate the follow. What other things can I do to move on from a breakup? So far, training puts my mind at ease. Okay, well, it's good that training put. What's going on, Alex, on YouTube? Welcome, and everyone. We're diving into self-growth, relationships, spirituality. I've helped over 100 men and women transform their lives in my coaching practice, so we're here to help you guys out. Throw any questions down below. We have TikTok over here and YouTube over there. So yeah, what other things can you do to move on from the breakup? So far, only training has put your mind at ease. Well, one of the things you're going to want to do is do a significant amount of reflection on why the relationship ended. Is there anything that I did to contribute to it? What did they do? What were the qualities about them that weren't so great, right? So pay attention to these things so you learn the lessons and you don't attract somebody similarly in the future. And you can actually integrate this and change how you choose your partners moving forward so you can have a more beautiful experience that hopefully lasts forever. Obviously, that's the point of dating. But yeah, keep training, do some reflection, and don't make your feelings your enemy, because that'll make you feel even more stuck. If you're going through a period of grief, if you feel sad, you feel upset, you feel frustrated, you feel angry, don't run away from those emotions. They're allowing you to process it, right? It's in the avoidance of that that makes you feel constricted. But it's not an easy thing, but those are a few good places to start. And I say this is someone who has spent tens of thousands of dollars on them. What do you mean them? What do you know about spirituality? Honest questions. Or honest question. well, spirituality is a very broad spectrum. That's why I put it on here. Spirituality, I say, incorporates religion, energy, presence, awareness, consciousness, philosophy. There's a lot that goes into it. Comment guy said, "How are you coach at this young age?" That's actually a really good question. So, I mean, look, I'm in my early 20s. I am blessed to be able to do what I do. I've helped over 100 men and women in my coaching practice transform their lives. I've been studying this stuff for the last 7 years of my life, ever since I was 16 years old. Your average 16-year-old doesn't want to study psychology, philosophy in depth, but I did, and I was obsessed. And so I've helped so many people transform their lives, and I'm blessed to be so young and to help. A lot of my clients are in their 30s, 40s, married, divorced, have kids. Right? I don't have that, right? But I can still help them. It's absolutely a blessing. Absolutely a blessing. Lily said, how do I stay happy?" It's a good question. I think happiness is an emotion. It's fleeting. So the goal is not to stay happy. It's to stay fulfilled. What do I find purposeful? What am I passionate about? What do I want to continue to build in my life? And that'll keep you on track. Appreciate the gift, Cody. And Lily, yeah, if you're struggling, any women that are popping in here, I run a free women's coaching group that I actually just started a few weeks ago. We have around 30 girls in there at the moment. So if you're a woman who is interested in self-growth, relationship, spirituality, we meet once a week. And it's a good way to help you reach the best version of yourself. So Lily and any other women that are on here, just shoot me a DM. Hey, I'm interested in the women's group. I'll send you the details about it. Just feel everything. That's how you get through a breakup. Yes, in many cases. What can I do to raise my confidence in engaging in conversations with women? That is a good question. Oh, well, look, I mean, it's in a lot of the lack of confidence comes from because you put other human beings on a pedestal. You think you need to prove yourself to them. You have to show them that you're worth it. When you come from that frame of consciousness, they're up here energetically and you're down here. So you automatically feel inferior. You feel like they're better than you. And if you're going into it with that equation, your relationships aren't going to be successful because men and women are equal in their relationships and in their connection. If there's a power dynamic, it's off. So raising your confidence and engaging in conversation with women, understand that they are just like you. They have their own, like a lot of men have this paradigm where it's like women just they're like gods and they don't experience emotion, like they're not like me. It's like we all feel sad, we all feel frustrated, we all go through struggle, we all feel stressed, we all have problems, we have none of us have had a perfect childhood. Every human being shares this. When you walk around and start initiating conversations with women, even if you're a little bit afraid to, understand that she's a human being just like you are in every capacity. And it's like, oh, I'm just engaging with somebody else who doesn't really know why they exist either, and we're kind of figuring it out as we go. Ozzy, what's going on? How do I be a people? How do I not be a people pleaser, but I want to be a good friend to them? Okay, yeah. So there's a difference between being a good friend to somebody and being a people pleaser. Being a good friend is you guys both have the same values and you naturally meet each other's needs and you provide things and value to them. People pleasing is when you compromise who you are to make somebody else satisfied, and that's destroying your relationship. So think about it like this: if you people please, and you start to say yes in situations where you deeply want to say no and it goes against your character, you like destroy your self-worth by doing that, and they're not even that satisfied, by the way. Like maybe you did a few nice things for them and like their day is a tiny bit better, but if your day is 100% worse and their day got this much better, it's not worth it. Seriously. You have to integrate your selfishness and say, I got to take some time to myself. If I want to say no to this person, even if it's going to help them out, sometimes you got to say no. Sometimes you have to understand what's going to be best for you in this exact moment. And that doesn't mean you start saying no to everything, but it's when it goes against your values, you don't entertain it. Is a better way to put it. Good questions, guys. And we just started the live. Welcome in, everybody. Also, why did someone leave my life? They're still in my life as I see them every day. Could you rephrase that question, Lily? Can a relationship recover from virtual cheating if the cheater is serious about change, working for it? Well, when you say virtual cheating, Shane, can you walk me through like what exactly happened? Because that'll give me a good frame of like, hey, is this on the borderline section of cheating, or is this like almost unforgivable, right? Because there's obviously spectrums to the levels of cheating. So Shane, if you feel comfortable walking me through what they actually did, I'd be able to give you a more clear answer. Give advice about hate comments and social media. It's a good question because I actually had a video blow up over the last 24 hours. There's over 40 different creators that reacted to my video and everybody misinterpreted it. So I have people sending, like, so many people coming at me, right? So you have to understand that what your intentions are, what your values are, and why you put things out there. And if you know that that's true to your heart and soul, everybody else can talk and disagree with you. That's completely fine, right? No matter what you do or say in this lifetime, there will be people who love you, and there will be people who severely dislike you. There is things you can do to optimize for people liking you, but if you just live your life in aim of trying to please everybody else, you never please yourself or the people that actually matter. Because pleasing everybody doesn't matter. Most people don't care about you. Why are you trying to please them, right? But at the same time, it's like, hey, let me spread positivity even if people are spreading hate. That's how you counteract it. What's going on, Cody? How do you beat bad habits and cravings? It's a good question, Bo. Well, oftentimes the cravings and the bad habits are coming into fruition and coming up in your mind because you're running away from something. Certain emotion, certain conversation, certain experience you haven't processed. Don't run away from the feelings. Ask yourself, what like for example, let's say you overeat. What emotion do you feel right before you start to get triggered to then be really hungry and start to eat? It's like, oh, I just start feeling really sad and lonely, and then I use food as a coping mechanism, right? Then it's a lot clearer and easy to put down the bad habit when you know why it's there in the first place. So, Bo, if you're struggling to do that, shoot me a follow, shoot me a DM about this. Would love to dive into it with you further. Already said you're a great guy, not gonna lie. I appreciate you, man. Kenya, welcome in. Let's see. Hold on, my comments moved. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to go back up. Oh, here we go, Kenya. I wanted to wait until marriage, but my boyfriend didn't know if he could do that. We broke up, and I feel bad. Okay, well, here's something to investigate. Deep reflection for yourself. There's people that wait till marriage, and they are actually committed to that, and they really connect to that. If you're in that bucket, you know for a fact and certain that you want to wait till marriage. Keep going, right? All for it. But you could also potentially be using the I'm going to wait till marriage as a way to avoid your sexuality, and you paint lust as a bad thing, and I can't integrate this with my partner. If you're in the second boat, we can have a deeper conversation about it. But if it's in the first boat where you're like so certain you want to wait till marriage and you're certain about that, no question about it at all, it's going to happen. There's a lot of people that won't be willing. It's an understanding in your dating experience that there will be many people that you meet that won't connect to that value. But it doesn't mean that there isn't somebody out there that does. They're most likely going to be a religious individual because, for example, I wasn't going to wait till marriage. Absolutely not. Right? So it's not about convincing somebody to change their belief, but more finding somebody that is in line with you. And that could be a good place to start for you. And if Kenya, if you're struggling to do that, shoot me a follow and a DM. Because I'm clicking on your profile, woman of God, right? So I'm gonna assume you're very religious, and that's why you're in tune with it. Would love to dive into this in the DMs with you and help you out, so you could find a guy who's actually committed to that with you. Gray said blank at 18. I would definitely say no. And how do you deal with? Oh, actually, you're saying radioactive jealousy. Do you mean retroactive jealousy? So I'm not sure what radioactive jealousy is. If you're talking about retroactive jealousy, like the fact that your partner has been with other people before, have conversations with them about it. This is a fundamental insecurity. There's nothing wrong with experiencing it. I've experienced it. My girlfriend has experienced it. My past partners have experienced it. It's about creating a space to interact with it together. It's the demonization of it that makes you feel more stuck and overthink about it. And if you bring it up, then he's like, oh, why are you thinking about that? Like, you guys need to interact with this together. And then you can do that in a healthy way. Loggy said, you have helped many people in relationships. What about you and your relationships? Absolutely. So a lot of my last relationships failed because of my own insecurities, things of that nature. And I've been with my current partner for over a year. And a lot of the advice I give to people when it comes to relationships comes from my experience with my girl now, because our relationship is like almost perfect. Like that, we never raise our voices at each other. When we're arguing, we always find a way to find the answer, and it's us against the problem, not each other. And we feel exceptionally connected on every single level. So I'm not just somebody who's trying to tell people how to be in a good relationship without being in one. I'm in a very successful one. There are a lot of dating coaches that are single, but at the same time, one of my coaches is single and he coaches on relationships, and I love working with him. He has great advice, right? But yeah, I am in a relationship. What are some good ways to speak more confidently in front of audiences? Doing it more, right? Also getting exceptionally in tune with the things that you're communicating. How closely connected am I to what I'm talking about and presenting to this crowd of people? How close is this in tune with my heart and my soul? And I'm just using words to express that. If that's the case, you connect to this speech that deeply, all you got to do is do it a little bit more and you'll naturally find your groove. It's in the avoidance of it that makes you constantly be like, how do I speak in front of people? You just open your mouth. There's nothing wrong with being nervous about this, by the way. First few times, you may stutter a little bit. First few times I did some sort of public speaking, I was the same way. But after doing content for so long and doing so many coaching sessions, working with so many people, I still use filler words sometimes, like, comes up. I'm not perfect, I'm still working on it. But you guys can see in the way I answer your questions on here, comes up a lot less. Practice is what gets you to get into the same place, to get into the groove. Heisenberg said, thanks, dude, I needed that. Glad it resonates, man. Hey, so this is weird, but my crush said, I want to confess something, and then said, never mind. What does it mean? You said your crush, so you guys aren't dating? What's the situation there? Need advice on your website? Shoot it over to me. How do I stick to a consistent routine without stopping after a week? Yeah. If you're having trouble staying to a consistent routine, what's most likely going on is you're going from lazy procrastination to let me do 15 things at once. That always fails. You want to break this down to one of the smallest action steps possible, so small that it almost seems embarrassing to do it. Like this thing that you want to do to commit to for 3 hours a day, do it for 15 minutes, right? And you're like, oh, what's the point of doing for 15 minutes? Let's say theoretically you did it for 15 minutes every single day over the next year, compared to the version of you that does it for 0 minutes every single day. Massive difference. Now here's what's going to happen. You're not going to do it for 15 minutes a day for a year. You're going to start off doing it 15 minutes for the first few days to a week. Then you're going to naturally snowball it up and then naturally make the progression. Staying consistent when you're used to being lazy and procrastinating is kind of like you're trying to take yourself from 0% to 100%. It doesn't work like that. You have to travel through the levels of 1%, 2%, 3%. You're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, it's required. And it actually creates the longevity of it too. So Flower, Harry, is that your name? Feel free to shoot me a follow and a DM about this. Would love to kind of craft it with you and see what's really going to work for you. Ben said, why does she want to keep me around but doesn't want to choose me? I'll give you the very simple explanation. She wants attention from you while not having to give you anything else. Ask yourself, is that all I'm worth? The answer is no, and you're worth a lot more. So go find somebody else that actually treats you right. How do you deal with the breakup that she left you because you complimented another girl? If you gave a simple, I mean, look, I'm not going to endorse and say it's okay to go and just compliment another girl, but at the same time, it doesn't warrant a breakup. Here's the thing, if that warrants a breakup, like a simple compliment, it'll definitely elicit an argument. But a breakup there was no foundation for the relationship. You guys weren't building a life together. You weren't building a vision. You were just kind of together to be together, and once one thing went wrong, she dipped out. It's not a real relationship. Sounds like she might have been using you. Not maybe intentionally, but so to say about that. I feel so lost in life as a 23-year-old male. Hold on. Why do my comments keep moving? I feel so lost in life as a 23-year-old male, whereas I feel like my friends are so much ahead of life than me. This is a very common experience. Look, your friends may be ahead of you. That may be true. But it also doesn't mean you're behind. If you compare yourself to them, sure. And I can sit here and just say, oh, you're on a different journey, but you actually are, right? You lived a different childhood. You lived a different teenage experience. You have different thoughts. You have a different mind. You have a different body. Everything about you is different than these other people, and you're comparing their experiences exactly to yours and judging yourself falling short based on their experiences, when maybe they had a head start over you. Now, here's the thing. You got to take accountability for yourself, too. Because maybe a part of the reason as to why other people are ahead of you is because you haven't taken your life seriously enough. You haven't gotten serious about your passion, about work, about what you're really going to do for yourself in this lifetime, right? And then that kind of feels like it paralyzes you when you feel stuck. It's like you just sit in that for another few months of like, I still don't know what to do. So, smiley face, that's what your name is on here. If you want to shoot me a follow and a DM about the experience you're going through, I'd love to kind of paint a vision with you and help you out. Do I believe in Jesus? Not particularly. Louisa said, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. How are you? You're 17 and you feel behind relationship-wise. You're not, especially if you're only 17. You're literally at the beginning of the journey. You're 17, you're at the cusp of, like, entering a potential real relationship and, like, actually bonding to somebody and knowing what's going on. So you're right at the beginning. Don't feel like you're behind. Arctic said, nobody on YouTube. Arctic on YouTube said, nobody's behind. You have to be grateful for what you have. A lot of people don't think of that. Absolutely. There are many people with struggles, and that's why it's so important to be humble. Yeah, and also a lot of the people that you think are doing better than you, they are struggling in an area in which you are not paying attention to. Because here's the thing: the people that are doing better than you, let's say posting on social media, and you're looking at that saying, "Oh my God, their life is so great." You don't see them in their arguments with their relationship partner. You don't see the hidden struggles that because they're not going to post that on social media. They're not gonna. It's people's highlight reels. It's what's great about their life. All of the struggles that they are going through. They are going through. Do never forget about that. They're not going to show you that, right? So don't compare. I heard this classic motivational quote: "Don't compare somebody else's highlight reel to your entire life. It just doesn't make sense. It's irrational." How can I move on and maybe forget about her if I dream of her every night after our breakup? Rod Tang, this is a very normal experience. Her being in your dreams every night after you hold on, my comments are moving. Her being in your dreams every single night after you guys broke up is literally a part of the equation. It's a part of the processing. It's your mind and your subconscious's way of processing this. The same experience for me. Any breakup I've ever had in my entire life, 2 to 5 months after me and her break up, she's in my dream every single night. And my mind plays out different scenarios, right? Different realms of processing, right? So allow this to happen. It seems a little bit painful, right? Because you're going through grief in a breakup stage, right? Don't run away from that. Feeling the emotions actually helps you process it. Don't forget that. And if you're struggling with that, Rod 10, shoot me a follow and a DM, and I can shoot you over some lecture material I've done around overcoming heartbreak that I think can help you out. I'm genuinely tweaking because I have a 3.1 GPA as a junior and I need to get into college. Well, time to lock in, brother. You got this. Rose, we already answered that question. If you didn't hear the answer, shoot me a DM about it. Kenya said, hold on, let's get to this question on YouTube too. If you look at these mansions, for an example, you'd be surprised how much debt they might have just because they flex. Doesn't mean they're rich. That's very true. I mean, look, there's a lot of people that I've heard a lot of like mainstream rappers, for example, but they're always flexing money. That's literally what their music is about. In interviews, say, hey, look, I got to keep putting out an album every 6 months because if I don't, I can't make my car payment and I can't pay off my mortgage, and I'm literally going to be broke. Because when you got 6 Lamborghinis and you got 3 houses, you don't. For a lot of people, they don't just have it and then you pay nothing. Like there's a lot to maintain that, and nobody thinks about that. So there's a lot of stress that people have as a result of that. But of course, they're again not going to show you that. How do men deal with no contact from a really genuine and good girl? Well, I mean, my personal perspective is no contact is usually a coping mechanism to avoid the problem. Like if you're in a relationship, you should not be going no contact. If you need 24 hours of space for each other, feel free to take it. But like a week-long break or 2 weeks long, no, you guys need to bond closer together and figure this out together. Learn how to solve problems together. You should not be going no contact. Now, that being said, if you broke up and you're going no contact, it shouldn't be coined as no contact. It should be, hey, we broke up. I'm never going to talk to you ever again. Enjoy the rest of your life, genuinely. Not in like this, oh, enjoy the rest of your life. Actually, enjoy the rest of your life, but I'm not going to be in it because we broke up. Doesn't that mean something? Been sick all week, but feeling better than the last 6 days. So I'm glad you're feeling better. Hold on, we got a lot of questions coming in. I already answered that question. So we can send you DMs too. Yeah, whatever. If you have a specific question that you want to ask in the DMs, you could always shoot it over for sure. Thanks for helping me, Brad. Yeah, of course, Cody. Appreciate you being here. How do you deal with a breakup? Oh, we already. Yeah, for those of you guys that are I think I have a lot of there's a lot of comments, um, that are coming in at once. So you got throw your question down one time, and I'll get to it. If I don't get to it immediately, it's because I'm still up in the list. How do I get any woman I want? You can't. It's not how it works. You get people that you resonate with, and they resonate with you. It has to be an authentic connection. I'm doing good, AR. How are you? Welcome in. We've been friends for 3 years. The virtual cheating was a blank encounter with a stranger in a chat room. That's interesting. Shoot me a DM about that because I definitely want to hear more about your relationship dynamic and see what really kind of triggered that to happen. So we can really dive into it further. Some people can go from that 0 to 100 if they are completely out of their real character at 0. What do you mean completely out of their real character? I think I know what you're saying. You're suffering from blank. Yeah, Jesus follower. Send me a DM about that because we unfortunately can't cover that topic on here. Oh, we got a lot of comments coming in. Hold up. You feel like you're in the same boat. You're feeling behind at 28. You're not behind. Motivation for studying. I don't want to give you motivation for studying. I want to give you practicalities. Tell yourself you're going to study for 5 minutes instead of 3 hours. That'll get you going. At what point do you have to accept your dreams are not realistic and settle for a normal life? Well, it depends what your dream is. If your dream is building a $1 billion company within 6 months, might not be the most realistic dream. But my dream was to not go to university and run businesses, and to make money of my own and not have to rely on someone else. And I've created that for myself. While every single person in my life didn't think it was possible. So Tommy, I'm definitely curious to hear more about like what the dreams are for yourself because you most likely shouldn't give up on them. Sometimes you have to do and work jobs that you don't want to for a certain period of time to then fuel that dream, and that's not satisfying. But giving up on your dreams entirely, I don't think that's a good idea. What should you do? You failed math the first year. Yeah, I did too. Take it again. Take it again. No offense, but what is your religion? Don't worry, all questions are welcome. Aside from politics, you're not going to offend me. But I'm not a part of a particular religion. Uh, should you get a history PhD? If you're going to use it, if you're not going to use it, it's probably a waste of your money. Decade says, do I get paid for this? Yes, I do. I run my coaching practice. Why does one shirt need so many buttons? Thought I asked a real important. Absolutely, Kate. It's a good question. I don't know. Open your third eye. It's an interesting question. My friends keep making jokes about me eating too much. Yeah, tell them to stop doing that. You have to confront them on their behavior. Don't just allow it to happen. Hey Brad, how do I have positive energy and humility that my energy goes outward to other people? When you can you rephrase that question? What do you mean by that? How do I have positive energy and humility that your energy goes outward to other people? Well, it's just an understanding that looking at reality, like when you express yourself, you're affecting other people. Um, but as long as you're trying to do it in an upward aim, that's all you can do. John in the comments said, "You matter. You are worth it." Appreciate that, John. It's a message to everybody. Oh, hold on. My comments moved again. There we go. I'll DM you from my personal account. Sounds good, Tommy. What are my political beliefs? If you must be new here, welcome in. We don't talk about politics here. When to know to stop college if it's not going your way? Well, why are you in university in the first place? What job and career do you want for yourself? Or are you just there to be there? What outlook should you have when people dislike you or ignore you at work? Well, if everybody dislikes you, you have to look at why that is. But if people just ignore you at work, allow them to, right? It's like if they don't want to talk to me, they're not obligated to do so. Like I'd like to be a nice person and greet everybody, but if they don't want to talk to me, okay, cool. Question is why though? Like that we can dive into, because maybe they're just stubborn. I don't know what the situation is. Welcome in everybody. Someone on YouTube said, "Are you atheist?" I am not. I used to be. I used to be. What the hell? What is that? Oh, here we go. How do you deal with an inferiority complex? I feel like everyone is better looking and better than me. Okay. Well, you want to look at reality and look at that a lot of people that you think are doing better than you in certain cases are doing worse, but also in the people that are doing better than you, have conversations with them, ask for advice, see how they got there, repeat the process. Right? It's like if somebody has a physique that you really like, figure out how they got it, get that yourself. How do I make more money? Talk to someone who makes a decent amount of money that you want, get advice from them. Right? Start to acknowledge where you feel stuck, and it maybe people are better than you. Like that could be a reality, but that doesn't mean it has to stay that way, right? Question is, where do you feel like you're not enough, right? And can we work on that? Because the question is, or the answer is, we most likely can. You're 24. How can you get a side hustle? Well, you have to find something that you care about, something that you're passionate about, something that is gonna be easy to start to do and flow with. How do you deal with insomnia? It's 4 a.m. and I have an exam tomorrow morning, but I'm watching you instead. Well, first step would be to put your phone down. Stop the last 30 minutes before you go to bed. Stop going on your phone. Pick up a book. Do something that grounds your consciousness, that grounds your nervous system, and that takes the dopaminergic urges that you have to just consume all the time and experience pleasure, and cast that aside. Do a little meditation session. Go for a little night walk. Whatever the case is that grounds you, do that before you go to bed, and your body will start to naturally feel more tired. Melatonin production goes up, and bam, you're not going to be 4 a.m. watching this. But I appreciate you being here. How to increase self-love. You have to define for yourself what self-love means. And hey, if I did love myself, you're asking the question, how to increase self-love. If I did love myself, what would I be doing for myself? How would I be caring about myself? What would I be doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? How would I talk to myself? What thoughts would I have? What actions would I partake in? And start to do that. Caramel, what's going on? Literally just got up for expulsion at school for a dude saying blank. Oh yeah, that's not good, Madison. That's not fun. Notification. Nice try. Nice try. Yo, that's actually crazy, bro. People like pretend to be like from TikTok and then say like you have to end your live now, it's gonna get suspended. Like, no, you're just trolling. Get out of here. You're not helping everybody. You're not helping anybody. 17, I want to improve my life, but I feel stuck not knowing where to start. Well, Bella, I run a free women's group where we have about 30 girls in there. And we meet Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, diving into self-growth, relationships, spirituality, finding your purpose, passion, and alignment in your life. So, Bella, shoot me a DM about that. Maybe that'll help you out. You broke your heart because you had high expectations. Yeah, I mean, look, don't expect you can have high standards, but standards and expectations are different. Expectations are usually unspoken. Standards are mutual agreeances. We can also create a standard and agree, hey, in my relationships, I need somebody to do this to meet my needs. That's valid. But then you start having high expectations for people that can't meet those needs, and that's where you have your heart broken. Because you tried to change somebody, to try to get someone to be somebody that they're not, and that never works. Kelly said, as a mom with hardly any time to self, how can I find more fulfillment in adult connection? That's a good question. you're going to want to take every single little ounce of free time that you have, not every single little, but a large component of that. Like whether it's a Friday night or sometime in the weekend or in the morning, like going on walks in a public space and just initiate conversations with people. But Kelly, also when it comes to like self growth, and any women that are on here currently, I run a women's group that's completely free. Completely free. We meet every single week, and if you think that could be helpful for you, Kelly, an hour of your time every single week to help you get more connected, could be a good place for you. Judah said, I can go more specific. Let's say you've reported someone for blank. Now you have rumors. I don't remember your original question. I apologize. If you could combine those. Or shoot me a DM about it too. How do I join your women's group as a man? You can't. I do have a men's group though. Don't worry. How to keep mental health in check when it cannot let you go to work and have zero motivation sometimes. Okay, I understand. All right, keep your mental health in check when you don't have any motivation. Well, here's the thing. Stop trying to look for motivation. Look for connection. What can I do that'll make me feel more connected to my life? That'll make me feel better about myself? That'll make me love myself more? That's where you want to go. Because if it's just like, let me just find the motivation, where is it? It's not there. What do I connect to? How can I actually incorporate that on a practical basis? Are there people that actually enjoy life when they wake up every day? 100%. And if you feel like you're not enjoying it, shoot me a DM about it. Let's dive into it. You have a question about dating, Inara or Inari? Sounds good. Throw it down below. I want to go to law school and finish undergrad, but I want to join the military. What should I do? What's more of a priority for you? What's going to fulfill your soul? It's a good question to ask yourself. Got heartbroken and joined Marines. Worked for you. That's good. Just make sure you don't avoid the feelings. Might keep you stuck. Welcome and everybody on YouTube. Please, on YouTube, ask some more productive questions so I can actually answer them. TikTok's doing a better job. I like this guy, but apparently he kept touching his ex in a way that she didn't like, but I don't know. When you say apparently, are these like rumors? Like what is the situation here? Kids suffer from addiction. I work in the addiction field as well, helping everyone while you feel like you're struggling. Well, let's get you to not struggle as much anymore, JJ. Shoot me a DM about it. Shoot me a follow. Love to help you out. That's what we've been told in Ari. Well, who have you been told it by? Is it a reliable source or somebody who doesn't like him and just likes making stuff up? I mean, look, I don't know what the situation is in depth, but have a conversation with him about it. Say, hey, I heard this. Is this true? And don't accuse him. Just say, hey, I heard someone say something about this. Just wanted to bring it to you to let you know someone told me that, right? It's a respectable thing to do, and you see what his answer is. You see if you feel like he's lying to you or if he's being honest. You have a conversation about it. Yeah, of course, Inari. Feel free to shoot me a follow. Would love to see you back here. Welcome in, everybody. All right, C4, you were asking not super productive questions. What's the best way to work with others in a negative, stressful job as an empath absorbs emotions? You have to develop a relationship with your emotions and to, in some way, shape, or form, not take things personally where you are taking them personally. Like you may say something or things start to get stressful and then people start to say things or word it in a certain way, but it has nothing to do with you. Don't make it about you, right? It's like, oh, they care about what I think. It's like, no, they probably don't. They're so focused on themselves, right? So that's a good place to start as. And yeah, like I'll say it again. Any women that are on this TikTok live, I run a free women's coaching group. We meet Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, helping you with self-growth, relationship, spirituality, reach the best version of yourself. If you feel like that could be helpful for you, shoot me a DM. And also for all the men on here, I run a men's group too. So feel free to shoot me a DM about that. You want to grow your maturity. How? You want to grow your maturity. Here, another question to ask yourself. If I were more mature, what decisions would I be making and how would I be making my choices differently? That's a really good place to start because you're already going to have some answers come up. I've been working on that specifically in the new year. I love to hear I'm in the right direction. Absolutely, yes. Hey, Jade. Appreciate the gifts. Welcome in. What if a guy you dated says, I love you, so I'm letting you walk out? Why don't they fight? He says, I love you, so I'm letting you walk out. Well, why are you walking out? What's going on here? Why do I still care about my ex even though he hurt me and I think I still love them? Well, I mean, yeah, here's the thing. Just because somebody hurt you doesn't mean you don't care about them anymore. You could be angry at them and be resentful, but you could still care about people, right? So your mind is battling itself. There's a part of you that still cares. There's a part of you that's trying to let go. Allow yourself to naturally go through the emotions. It's okay to think about them sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. It'll eventually pass. So my girl requested for some space, like a 2-day space. Should I check up on her? Why did she need space? What's been going on? What's the best way to communicate with someone avoidant as an anxious attached person? Okay, yeah, well, if you're very anxious and they're a little bit avoidant, stop trying to blimp up. Like, if you're anxious, you're going to be blimping up the problem. Like, I feel this way, and maybe you did this, and I'm feeling like this, and then the avoidant goes, oh, Jesus Christ, that's too much, I got to back off. Break it down to small chunks. This doesn't mean, like, don't say the full picture, but remain grounded in your explanation and say, hey, like, showing them we're in a safe space where we can just interact with together. I'm not accusing you. I'm not coming at you. That makes an avoidant run away very quickly. But again, the anxious avoidant dynamic, this needs to be worked on and healed within both of you, and you can do that together. That's going to be really important here because the anxious avoidant dynamic is inevitably it runs into being a toxic cycle. So you don't want to be in that forever, but it's okay if you're accepting that it's there now. You guys just got to work on it. Legend said, Jesus loves y'all. Thanks for the advice. You're welcome. Glad to have you here. You were bullied and had to leave your school later 2 years. What's going on, Joe? Appreciate the gift. Saw the girl who bullied me alone at church. What was the reaction you had? Where's the emotions coming up? Let's dive into this. Uzu, I am known to be very quiet. I'm known to be very quiet, and I am quiet. Okay. Now I'm jealous of people who have tons of friends. Let me break your narrative real quick. You ready, Uzu? Most people that have tons of friends don't have any friends. They have connections that are on the surface level. They say hi to them, they shake their hand and dab them up, and they're like, yo, what's up, man? It's usually not really anything beyond that. It's just surface level conversations. And that being said, there's a place for that. But when you're saying, hey, I'm a little bit more quiet and introverted, and they have so many friends, they're not as connected as you think they are. That being said, here's what psychology proves time and time again, and what shows up in my life. If you have 1 to 3 friends that you actually care about, that is all you need. I'm not sitting here and saying like stop there and stop meeting people, but that's all you need to be fulfilled if you're actually connected to them. Now, that being said, you might be very quiet and introverted, and still now you don't really have that many friends. You can work on this. So, Uzu, I used to be completely introverted in my life, deathly afraid to go up to somebody that I didn't know. I'd love to help you through it. If you want to shoot me a follow and a DM about what your experience is, I'd love to help you out with this. Now my parents want me to take revenge, but you feel confused. Take revenge on what? How can you breathe underwater? Can't help you with that. Her space story is all about her not feeling 100% to talk. I mean, look, I don't know what the situation is, so if she needs 2 days of space, give it to her, but after that, you gotta have a conversation. You're in a relationship. Can't hide from each other. S said, thank you. You are a guru. That is what we are working on in couples counseling, so that's positive. Awesome to hear you guys are working on it. That's beautiful. A lot of people in avoidant and anxious attachment styles are not working on it, so it's awesome to hear you guys are. You want to be able to make friendships and relationships in general. Start more conversations with people. Guys, train 3 to 4 times per week. Try to eat healthier and be nice to people. Eventually it will pass. That's a good thing to start with, for sure. There's usually some deeper dynamics to dive into as well, though. Oh, yes, Nahu, I remember your original question about the bullying. The girl who bullied you, your parents told you to take revenge. I'm not going to sit here and criticize your parents because I'm sure they're great people, but if your parents are urging you to take revenge, your parents are not happy and they don't know how to solve problems when it comes to relationships. Because if they're telling you to take revenge on that girl that hurt you, they're probably taking revenge on each other all the time. That's not a fun dynamic or a healthy one. So do not take revenge on this person. What you're going to want to work on is understanding that if somebody has the capacity to bully you, it's because they have very negative thoughts about themselves all the time, and they feel a need to cast that towards an external source, and that external source is currently you. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them and them feeling stuck. Don't let they're down here, you're here, they bully you, they take you, you then feel on their level. Don't let them take you down there. Right? The second somebody says something that you don't like, stop accepting it. Stop looking at them with puppy watering eyes of like just taking the disrespect. The second somebody says something disrespectful to you, here's what you're going to say. I don't appreciate you saying that. Please don't do that again. And if they keep talking and they refuse to interact with us and change their behavior, walk away. You do not owe people anything. You needed help with something because you did something bad. What was the thing that you did? Tried testing the waters, and in a text called her cute. She replied, "Just thank you. Is that a bad sign?" How long have you known this girl? Do you work with her? Does she go to the same school? What's the situation you're in, Constantine? How long you've been talking to her? Because you definitely don't want to call her cute over a text. You want to do it in person so you can actually see what her reaction is and if she reciprocates the care or not. And if she doesn't, you got to move on. Do I accept requests? No, since we have so many questions coming in, we're not having people on the panel. But if you do have a question that you don't want to ask on here, please just shoot me a DM about it. Me and my friend L. Wright, and we were in a class with guys and the girls. I don't understand that question. I'm having a hard time remaining disciplined to maintain getting things started. I'm tired all the time. Yeah, you're trying to go from, I was talking about this earlier in the live. You're trying to go from ground zero to ground 100 overnight. It's not how it works. Stop trying to go from I have zero habits implemented, I have zero discipline, to let me go to the gym and let me meditate, and let me go on a run and let me do all these things at once. Start small. Start small. Give yourself one task to do over the next week. Get that sorted, then move on to the next one. That's going to help you out a lot. And whatever time you think you need to go and do that discipline task for, shoot lower. Don't let go of the big vision for it, but start smaller. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially if it's going to get you to where you want to go. You only have one friend. You cut off all the others. I didn't have a close connection with. Am I rude? Well, it's good that you have one friend. A lot there's you know what they did some surveys of I think men aged 18 to 32. It might be somewhere around that. I'm definitely not completely accurate. Anyway, they did a survey interviewing men, and they said, "How many close friends do you have?" You know what the average amount of close friends men have? 0. The average person has 0 close friends, right? So the fact that you have one is exceptional. Now, that being said, you said you cut off the rest of your friends because you didn't have a close connection. I mean, look, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you could still be friends with people who you don't have a super deep connection with. It's just you can't expect them to you can't expect yourself to rely on them. But again, there's nothing, if that's what you felt called to do, that's what you felt called to do. Wait, hold on, Constantine. You met on Hinge, and you've been on 4 dates, and you called her cute over text, and she just said thank you? Yeah, that's not a good sign, brother. It's not a good sign. Like, if you've been on 4 dates already, and you called her, you initiated flirtation over text, and she likes you, she's going to be doing that right back. Me and my girl were doing that even before the first date. We were flirting with each other, right? So it's like, something's going on here. I just fear about not being successful in the future and can't find my passion to move on with. What have you tried so far? What have you researched, right? Sometimes we're like, I don't know what my passion is, I don't know what my purpose is, but you haven't even really tried that much. Start trying anything and everything. Get really curious. How do I get less? Okay. How to be wise, like really wise. And also, I have zero discipline, how to change that. How to be wise? Well, wise is always subjective, right? Some people think the way my mind works, some people think I'm wise, and some people think I'm stupid, right? It's like it's all subjective perception. But to become wise in your own eyes, like start researching and get connected to concepts and beliefs that you actually care about, right? That you actually want to completely build and take upon forward. That's a really good place to start. Start being curious about any and all information in reality. You want to learn, just consume it. You want to learn everything, right? Get obsessed with that. Maddie said, "Why am I never enough for anything? That's what I want to know." Well, that's just a narrative you're telling to yourself. That's not true. Just because you think you're not enough for anything doesn't mean that you are. So I want you to change the paradigm. First thing you're going to want to do is change your language. Stop telling yourself that you're not enough because it's not true. Somebody else did something or said something to you that convinced you of that. It didn't come from you. Don't keep that belief internally. So change the language. Every time you think to yourself, I'm not enough, switch it to I am enough and insert here's why, because there are certain things that are very special about you. Don't forget about that. Pay attention to them and build upon them further, right? You are enough for everything that you desire and everything that you have coming to you. You just have to see that for yourself. Start to show up for yourself more. Give yourself some space. Stop being so hard on yourself. And Maddie, I know you follow me. If you're struggling with this stuff, shoot me a DM about it. I'd love to dive into it with you. I want to leapfrog off of a question. I'm ultra productive at work, but not at home. How do I fix that? Yeah, well, a lot of the time, work drains a lot of people, and then by the time, like one of my clients who's trying to start businesses as well as working like 9 to 5 every day, you have less energy. So here's what you want to do. You ready, S? After you get off of work, when you feel a little bit drained, you want to do something that gets your energy back up. For some people, you go on a quick run, 15-minute run. For other people, for me, it might be playing the drums for a few minutes. For other people, it's a little journaling session. So for some people, it's it's reading that grounds you, right? Find something that you enjoy doing, like for like 15 to 30 minutes after work, in between the stuff that you have to do or want to do, and that should give you a little bit more energy to actually do it, as opposed to like working 8 hours a day and then immediately trying to jump into everything else. Like your brain wants to breathe for a second. Allow that space. The more you treat a person, the worse they treat you. The worse, the better they treat you. I don't. The last part didn't make sense, but the first part I don't agree with. If you're treating a person well and they start treating you worse, it's because they don't have any values and you're just trying to water a dead plant. Don't do that. How do I get started from dealing with depression? That's a good question because I was in the same place when I was 13 years old until 16. Shoot me a DM about that because I have a whole 1 hour lecture about overcoming depression I can send you. Also, I've experienced it myself. The starting place for me was doing very basic things. A lot of the times when you feel really depressed, you're just stuck in the same place. You're not even doing anything for yourself. Start with the basic things. Here's what I did. Started getting in the gym, going for walks, connecting with nature. Started very basic. Just start doing those things, and you'll start to notice yourself feeling a little bit better. And then we want to do the deep inner work around this. So shoot me a DM about that, Dong. Love to help you out with it. Arlette said, I'm starting a new job on sales, and I'm excited but kind of scared. I really want to do this work because I don't know if the rest of your question went through, but congrats. Allow yourself to feel a little bit nervous. You can still be nervous and obviously be succeeding in it as well. And Arlette, feel free to shoot me a follow and a DM about this too. Would love to help you dive into it further. And also, I'll say it again. Any women that are on this TikTok live, this is your first time seeing me. We have a women's group where we meet once a week, diving into self growth, relationships, spiritually. We have about 30 women in that group. It's completely free to join. If as a woman you feel like that could be beneficial, shoot me a DM. We'll get you in. And I also have a men's group too. So for any guys that are on here, shoot me a DM about that too. Wisdom takes work. is a great book for being wise. Wisdom takes work. I'll have to, let me write that down actually. Grain of sand. Wisdom takes work. I've never heard of that book. I'll definitely have to look into it. Wisdom takes work. I like that. I like that title. All right. But when I learn something new, I constantly forget them, like a new word or a new concept. Okay, that's because you're studying things that you don't care about. Study things that you're actually curious about. Then you'll start to retain it. Grain of sand said, "Oh, this is good. Glad it resonates." C4 actually put in a good thing here too, saying that you're reading passively, engage with the material, treat it like a conversation, ask questions. I like that. All right, let's see. Hey, bro, how you doing? Again, so sorry for canceling. No worries, Diego. No worries at all. Thoughts on the Christian worldview? It's a good question. Um, I am not Christian, so I don't fully agree with it, but the biblical narratives have so much value that non-Christians can take so much value from. So I think in that case, it's very beautiful. And if you're loving your neighbor and trying to treat people well and looking for peace and positivity, I like it. But there are certain things in the realms of the idea of sins and going to hell that I don't necessarily agree with. Like for example, they demonize a lot of people in Christianity just demonize lust. Like it's immediately a bad thing. No, lust is powerful and it's natural, and if it's integrated properly into your relationships, it can be a beautiful experience. It's lust unintegrated that is kind of the demonization, but some people just like to demonize it as a whole. So things like that I don't necessarily agree with. But the primary worldview of doing good in the world and positivity, I think that's an absolutely great thing. I'm very close to my SAT test, but to focus and anxiety. But my focus and anxiety are damaged. Do I just start trying to? Do I just start trying to heal? Focus and anxiety are well. It's not that you're. It's not a. Don't view it like it's not damaged. Your focus and anxiety are not damaged. You just have a lack of focus and you're feeling anxious, right? So what is the small step I can take to start to integrate and understand where that's coming up? How do I confidently talk without stuttering and nervous talk? I think a good place to start would be to start having conversations with people and be nervous while you talk and start to get really comfortable with who you are. This is about the relationship you have with yourself, the beliefs that you have, the conversations you have with people, and the initiation you do. How do you view yourself? That is going to interact with the stuttering, because if you don't feel confident in what you're presenting, you'll constantly stutter and maybe I don't know if this is true, like maybe it is, like there's no groundedness. You want to get grounded in your beliefs. Ryan Holiday is the author. Oh yeah, Ryan Holiday did a lot of the stoicism. I love a girl. She doesn't love me. I can see it should. I should get away from her. Yeah, well here's the thing, I want to break your narrative here, technology. If she doesn't love you, you don't love her. You're just infatuated with her. There's a difference. Don't pretend that you love somebody. Love is a shared experience that's constantly being nurtured and integrated naturally together. That's not happening here. This is not love. She doesn't like you, find somebody that actually cares about you. And also ask yourself, why am I so attracted to people that reject me? And why do I keep trying? It's an insecurity. You want to interact with that. Don't run away from it. What if I have an overinflated self-view? Um, Meaning you probably have a big ego? Welcome. I have one too. It's about understanding where you are right and where you could potentially be wrong, and the innermost most productive level of self-growth is being confident enough to present all the information that you know is true, while also being open enough to realize that you could be wrong. And in fact, most of us are probably wrong. with almost everything. We're all growing and constantly evolving. What got you to stage 4 might not get you to stage 6. Don't hold on to beliefs that don't serve you anymore. Don't let your ego cling to it. My girlfriend caught me cheating and threw me out of the house. What should I do? You should reassess your decisions, understand that this relationship is over, and shoot me a DM so we can actually help you through this. T-Rex said, why is your wife annoying? I don't know. You married her. Why'd you marry her if you think she's annoying? It's a big problem. Oh, okay. Well, this is actually normal. You feel like she's nagging you all the time? Well, this is what happens when somebody's not connected to themselves and they have an unintegrated need for attention. She doesn't respect your boundaries, so she doesn't respect your individual time, so she constantly tries to take it up. You need to have a serious conversation with her about this, especially if you're married, because you've made a commitment to being with each other for the rest of your lives, and if you're going to keep that, you guys need to get on the same page, and she needs to stop nagging you. But don't come at her and say, you need to stop nagging me. That's just going to make her more angry. Say, hey, babe, I've been feeling disconnected from you recently. Let's dive into this, right? Because she's going to think to herself, I'm feeling disconnected too. That's why I'm nagging him, right? How do I know if my big ambitions are purpose-driven or just ego-driven? Your ego's drive will sacrifice other people to gain pleasure in your vision. Your soul's calling and your big ambitions of being purpose-driven will help other people in the process. That's how you know the difference. It's a big reason as to how you know the difference. And Huezo, feel free to shoot me a follow. You're asking some good questions. We'll love to see you back in here. And yeah, TX, feel free to shoot me a follow and a DM about the situation with your wife, because we got to dive into this so you can have a fulfilling marriage. I got tons of assignments, but I keep on scrolling on TikTok instead of doing anything about it. Stop trying, because you're thinking about doing all the assignments at once. Pick one single assignment and just do one a day, and that's probably more than enough. Well, what does nagging mean? Because it's common in heterosexual marriages for men to depend women. What do you mean depend? What do you mean depend? I don't know what you mean. Could you rephrase that question, please? This is a really good question. This is a really good question. Let me take a sip of water before I dive into it. What if you have a high libido and partner doesn't? How does one navigate this sensitive topic? Okay. Your partner, it's not that they don't have a high libido, because if you're healthy, you do. It's that they feel disconnected in some capacity, and then it's affecting your guys' intimate life. Now, that being said, if you have a high libido and you want to sleep with him 6 times a day, and he's like, I only want to do it once every 2 days, that's a different story. But if it's like, hey, you have a high libido, you want to, sleep with each other every, let's say 4 times a week, and he only wants to do it once a week, it's kind of a gap. So this is not about compromise. This is about meeting each other's needs in the form of physical expression and emotionally as well, because he may view sex as just a physical act. That's why he doesn't want to do it as much. But if you guys can both have a really if you share an intimate space together, because sex it's not always an intimate space. You can create it to be a more surface level one, right? But you guys want to make sure that you sit down and have a conversation about how that fulfills your needs in the amount that you want to have the experience, and see where his head is at too. Have a really open, honest look at this and seeing how you guys can be flexible with each other, not compromise, be flexible with how you can adjust this and experiment with it together, right? It's not one or the other. Let's see what works for us. Let's both be open to trying something new. What to do when you feel incapable of doing anything while you see other people achieving their goals? You feel incapable. There's a difference between feeling incapable of doing something and not being capable. You're just in analysis paralysis. You feel incapable, but that is not true. You got to break the things down to smaller steps. You're looking at everybody else's big dreams, all the giant things they're doing, the big money they're making, the long hours that they work, and you're sitting here, scrolling on your phone and playing video games 6 hours a day. Like, oh, I'm a loser. I can't do anything. It's because you're starting from a different place. Accept where you're at and start to develop a dream for yourself and find a small way to start to integrate it. Don't try and go to the end goal immediately. TL said, oh, like in a marriage, depending on a woman in a mother-son relationship. Yeah, TL. If a man in his romantic relationship starts to depend on his woman like she's his mother, that's a big problem because it shows that his testosterone is going down. Which, oh, by the way, actually, your testosterone sometimes, well, at least when men have kids, their testosterone severely goes down. But as long as you and your partner, here's the thing, here's the biggest mistake people make in marriages. They start to become roommates and they start to just live with each other, but they're not growing together. So the most important thing to do here, and also for anyone who's spamming their question, stop doing that. Throw your question down one time. I'm going to get to you. Yeah, the biggest mistake they make is they stop dating each other. People get married and they're like, we're going to be together forever, and you stop going on dates. You stop spontaneously sleeping with each other. You stop doing things that are fun. Reintroduce all of those things and your marriage will become quite fun. If it becomes a mother-son relationship, it becomes very toxic very quickly. She's going to lose attraction for him, and you will get divorced. Be certain of that. So this dynamic needs to be changed. Hey, what's going on, Applesauce? I appreciate the gifts. Live with Ash. Appreciate you sharing the live. Welcome in. Looks like you create content too. Feel free to shoot me a follow. Would love to connect. How to stop loving a girl that doesn't love me? Again, like I said before, you do not love her. Stop telling yourself that you do. That's a crazy question. What are the signs I'm chasing success to... Oh, this is a really good question, Huezo. What are the signs I'm chasing success to prove something instead of build something meaningful? So there's this concept called being driven or dragged. Here's what it's like. A lot of famous athletes and things of that nature, famous people, successful people, whatever you want to call them. Here's how you determine if you're building something meaningful and it connects to your soul or you're doing it for approval and to prove something. Think about your childhood and think about the drive behind this. Am I doing this because I truly feel connected to it and I want to spread positivity? I love this work so much. I'm just genuinely curious about it. I'm just gravitated towards it all the time. Or am I doing this and trying to become the best basketball player in the world or create a $100 million business because if I don't do that, then my dad will never love me. And I'll never be enough. And I'll stay in the same place, right? If that's the place you're coming from, it'll come up. Hey, ask yourself this one question, Huezo, when you're building. Am I being driven or dragged? Now, here's the reality, I think. We're all being driven and dragged. The point and the key is to be more driven than you are dragged. But I'll give you guys a very practical example when it comes to... Hold on, I want to pin this comment again. I lost it. But I'll give you a very practical example when it comes to myself. Right? Am I being driven or dragged? There's a part of me... I've helped over 100 men and women in my coaching practice transform their lives. There's a part of me that loves changing people's lives and giving them space to help themselves do that, right? There's a part of me that loves coaching, coming out here giving advice. There's another part of me that's the driven side. There's another smaller part of me that's being dragged. When I was younger, I was always bullied. When I was younger, I felt misunderstood. When I was younger, I felt like nobody ever cared about me. So in some way, the work that I do now is healing that wound. I'm in some way being dragged by it. And there is a small part of me that does it for approval. Like, this is a way for me to finally be understood, right? So you want to analyze and be honest with yourself where this at. The most important thing is that you're being driven more than you're dragged. But don't shame yourself if you're being dragged a little bit. It's a part of our nature. None of us are perfect. You said it was about insecurity, so I want to know where the source of it is. Okay, yeah. So if you feel like you're falling in love with women that don't actually care about you, look back to your relationship with your parents. Did your mother and your father make you prove yourself? Did they make You prove yourself in order to receive love. Like, hey, if you get below an A+ on this test, you're not enough. You're not worthy. You're a bad child. You're a bad son, right? Think about scenarios like that. If anything of that nature has happened and it's reinforced itself constantly in your mind, that'll create this insecurity around trying to prove your love to people. And like, I need to, and then you find yourself literally attracted to people emotionally, and you have energetic ties to people that don't care about you because you feel like you need to prove yourself in love. This can be changed. Stop proving yourself, right? Start to get more connected with who you actually are. What actually makes me worthy? And am I worthy just existing? The answer is yes. But what are the other things that make me special? Analyze what those actually are. How to practice solitude in everyday life. Meditate for 5 minutes a day. Meditate for 15 minutes a day. Go on a walk. Go to the gym. Put your headphones in. Any source of solitude is, and do it intentionally. Any realm is, there's no right or wrong way to do it, just as long as you're trying to get more connected to yourself. That could be a good way to start. Yeah, Lofi, you said yes, it resonates. So yeah, shoot me a follow too. Would love to dive into this in the DMs with you. What to do? What do you have that's so special that you think you're enlightened enough to be giving advice? I don't think I'm enlightened. I don't think I'm enlightened at all. It's a pretty what would the word be? Drastic philosophical spiritual concept of enlightenment. I do not think I'm enlightened by any way, shape, or form. How do I strengthen my spirituality? Joey said, I have 60 days sober. I want to have a spiritual awakening. Okay, Joey, that's a good question. Now, here's the thing about a spiritual awakening. You can't, like, it's not about, you can't, like, spiritual awakenings aren't really induced. You don't, like, oh, I'm going to do this particular thing, and oh my God, I'm awake now. You want to look at how most of your life has been a lie. How most of your life, the veil has been pulled over your eyes. How for most of your life, you've been convinced of ideas that feel true, but they don't benefit your life. Start to question all of these narratives. You'll have an awakening. It'll start to come. Because you're looking at reality. That's really what spiritual awakenings are. You're just seeing reality, right? Because the veil has been over your eyes for a long time. And you're getting sober, right? You've been 60 days sober. So this is already going to be a great, massive step that's going to put you on the right path, man. And feel free to shoot me a DM about this, Joey. Would love to dive into it with you further. How to protect myself from blank, who is Crodium. Shoot me a DM about that, because I can't talk about that on live. Because there also might be certain legal things and measures you would need to take if that's genuinely the situation, because that's not okay. How do I find myself after years of people-pleasing? Great question. I've lost myself throughout it. Ask yourself, if I were to change my decisions, and like, where do I want to secretly say no to people and I keep saying yes? Where do I keep doing things for people where I know it's not beneficial for my well-being? Start asking yourself those questions, see what comes up, and the next time that somebody asks you to do something and you don't want to do it, say one singular word, no. And sit with those feelings. It's going to be deeply uncomfortable. Sit with that. Don't run away from it. It'll help you grow a lot. So, in Ira, if you're struggling with that, shoot me a follow and a DM. We actually, one of my coaches in my coaching practice just did a masterclass around people-pleasing and overcoming it, and the guilt and shame around it about a week ago. So I can shoot you over that lecture if you want. So shoot me a DM. Kettle said, what do I do if I'm disappointing with bad grades and no social life? Well, you can change your bad grades to become good ones if you start focusing, and to get a social life, start to talk to more people. Don't play the victim here. It's a very dangerous game. What's going on, El? How do you remain a good person and still be tough and not take BS from people without becoming jaded? This is a good question. This is about connecting to your values, right? Don't expect people to do things that they're not capable of. Don't expect people who you know aren't kind people to be kind. It's in your expectation that they owe you that and they should be doing that when you interact with them that makes you feel jaded. But when you have your values, when somebody goes against that, you have a conversation with them. You confront them. This thing that you said made me feel disrespected. I want you to know that. And I also want you to know that I prefer if you don't do that again. Right? Make these things known. So when you feel like you're taking BS from someone, confront it. right? That's the most important thing to do here. And when you confront it, certain people take accountability, and then you gain a deeper connection. Certain people don't, and then you might have that relationship to end. But either way, you avoid being jaded by this because you see people who take accountability, and you see people that don't. Pay more attention to the people that do, and that'll help you out. From your POV, what's the cheat code to manifesting the life you envision by bending your reality? This is a good question. What's the cheat code? The cheat code is being delusional. Craft a vision in your life that deeply connects to your soul. Find ways to start to practically create it in a small capacity, and be certain that it will become reality before it's even close to it. Right? It's like when I started my coaching business and I had 0 clients, what did I do? I told people I was a self-development coach. I had 0 clients, right? I'm a self-development coach. Hey, what do you do? I'm a self-development coach, right? Be it before you are actually living it fully in reality. And now I've served so many people in my coaching practice, and I continue to do so every day, right? So also, when it gets really difficult, you connect so deeply to it that when it gets so difficult, you're dying to find a way to make it work. You never give up. I've never once, in all the times where, like, at the beginning of my coaching practice where I didn't know how to get people in, I never thought of, like, I had thoughts of, like, okay, I don't know if this is going to be practical, but I never actually stopped figuring it out because I knew how closely it connected to my soul. So be delusional. I know, and I know it sounds weird because everyone's like, don't be delusional, you got to come back to reality. All the people that are telling you to not be delusional and come back to reality are miserable. Stop listening to them, right? If somebody isn't in a position that you want to be in, don't take advice from them. And for those of you guys that come on here and you're like, Brad, I don't like the position you're at. I don't want to be like you. Okay, cool. Don't take advice from me then. That's completely fine. I respect that. But like this is it's very important. That if somebody if somebody is working a job that they hate and they're like, dude, your dream is too big, got to be more realistic. Stop listening to them. They're not helping you. How do I continue a friendship with a good friend, but they remind me of the worst time in life? Have a conversation with them about that bad time in your life so they can understand that. You don't have to hide anything. What does it mean if I want to build skills, but I can't stay consistent with anything? With anything I start. Again, Huezo, like I was talking about before, you're trying to build skills and be successful and build a business, blah, 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 just for the sake of doing it because it's like the modern day thing, like escape the rat race, no more 9 to 5, growing your own business, right? And I get that. And I run my coaching practice, which is my own business, and another business I recently started with my brother. But don't try to develop skills that you don't care about. It's your ambition of just doing it to do it that is keeping you stuck. You're not consistent with the skills that you start because you don't care about those skills. You saw a millionaire or a guy who makes $10,000 a month on YouTube say, you got to learn copywriting or you got to learn this skill, it's going to make you money. But you don't care about that. You don't care about that skill at all. But you're like, I got to lock in, bro, I got to do it. That's what's keeping you stuck. You don't connect to these things. You got to sit with yourself here, man. Like, what do I connect to? What am I actually curious about? What do I really want to provide in the world and to myself? That'll get you closer to this. Stay said, do you recommend going out with a guy 6 years younger just because he's blank? I don't know what that means. Going out with a guy 6 years younger, I mean, if he's 6 years younger but you connect with him, that's okay. Well, unless you're like 18 and they're like 12, that's a different story. But if you guys are both over 18, you have a 6-year age gap, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Hold up. How to recommend stopping addictions in your life, for example, gaming most of the time? This is a good question, user. I used to be chronically addicted to video games. That's all I did every single day, all day. Here's one thing. Here's a harsh truth you want to face about your reality. You're avoiding your reality every day. That's why you play so many video games. Because you feel like you being on video games makes you feel like you're leveling up and you're making progress. Then you turn off the video games and you realize you're not making any progress. So you turn on the video games again and make yourself feel that way. It's kind of like this. it sets off the receptors in your brain, but it actually does nothing for your fulfillment, so then you feel disconnected. And so here's the thing you want to do, user. Here's what I did for myself. I completely quit video games for about 2 years. I went from 8 hours a day to I'm not playing at all ever. And what did I do instead? Gym, running, meditation, spirituality, philosophy, psychology, starting conversations with people, approaching women, researching. Like, that's what I got obsessed with. And brother, I've never wanted to pick up the video games ever again in my entire life. I'm not sitting here and saying I've never played it ever again, but like if I play video games on my own time for about 2 hours once every 6 months now. Once every 6 months. If there's like a Friday night and I just happen to not be doing anything, I'm like, oh, I feel like it might be once every 6 months. And I think there was a time like 3 months ago where I was at one of my friends who goes to university. They were like, we used to play Black Ops 2 Zombies all the time when we were younger. So it was nice to take some time on my Friday evening and just relax and play that with them, right? So it's cool. It's not like I'm demonizing video games. But if you're so addicted to it, gotta let it go. And user, if you're struggling to do that, shoot me a DM about it. Let's dive into it. They're trying to be like everybody else instead of being true to themselves. Absolutely. It's a very common thing. Daniel, it looks like you're a transformational coach. Feel free to shoot me a follow. Would love to connect, man. I have 3 coaches in my coaching practice, and I'm always connecting with other people. And I'm actually thinking about starting my podcast again, so maybe you might be a good guest. What did it take to become a certified coach? Good question, B. I'm not certified. I don't. None of my clients care about certifications. They care about getting results. I've helped over 100 men and women in my coaching practice. The certifications for life coaching is a very it's a very unregulated industry, which leaves a lot of places for people to be bad coaches. But I do all my services month to month with all my clients. That's why they stay, because I actually help them grow. And I think out of the over 100 people I've worked with, maybe 4 of them have asked, like, oh, what's your like certification? I provide people value, and yeah, you don't legally need a certification for coaching. So I didn't waste my time doing it. There's no, like, what's the point of me getting a 8 to 10 week certified thing when I'm already changing people's lives and I already know what I'm doing? I don't want to follow someone else's framework. I have one that works. But there's a good question. It's a good question. Why is 18 and 24 okay, but not 17 and 23? Because of laws. Because of things that people have created. That's why. And because when you're under 18, you know, your brain is obviously severely less developed and you don't make as great decisions for yourself all the time. So in a way to protect people that are underage, they have laws for that. How to stop family meeting addiction. What is family meeting? I have no idea what that is. Lot technology, please stop spamming the same comment. Please only throw it down one time. What is the best way to overcome group judgment or other people's perspectives and biases so they see me? Here's the problem with the group setting. Sometimes they're not going to see you. People act so differently on a psychological basis when they're in groups versus one-on-one with somebody. Some people just, you can't get to them when you're in a group setting. They're just going to judge you, and they're going to, play it off because the people want to have a good time. I'll give you a very practical example. I had this one time where one of my friends at dinner was like, oh, like one of my other friends was making a dating app profile for him because he's like, oh, going up to girls in person just doesn't work for me. And I was challenging him on this. And there was something else we disagreed on, and it started to get heated, and I started to get emotional about it. And like, I just realized he just didn't want to have deep conversations, and he just didn't want to confront things on a deeper level. And I just have to respect that. That's different. He's different than me, and okay, whatever. But I when it comes to how people see you, your best bet is to have individual conversations with them. The other best way to do it in a group setting is to set the frame, to start and initiate the conversation and change the topic. B said, do you have a podcast? I do. I haven't done it in a long time. Actually, I just released one podcast just now today on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Mighty Brad. And then there's a podcast section on my channel. So, yeah, there's about 76 episodes of my podcast I've released. Most of them are from, like, years ago, though. So, the way I present myself, the way I talk is nowhere near where it is now. But that's why I want to start the podcast up again, because to kind of update it and kind of see how everything's grown. I had a good day today, met some older friends, but I struggle making new friendships at a new college. Yeah, well, go start to tell your other friends um, about the experience you're in, and maybe they can go out with you and meet people with you, so you don't have to do it by yourself. That could also be something. Ryan's, we're not going to answer that just because of different things. Any video games you like, man, or any hobbies? Like I said, I quit video games, but I have my drum set over there. Drumming is one of my biggest hobbies. Actually, I want to play drums tonight, so I might actually end this TikTok live soon, so I could do that. Should you study finance if you want to? I'm not here to make decisions for you. If you connect to it, if you're just doing it to do it, maybe not. How much time is okay to ask a guy I've been with 2 months for to be my boyfriend? We've already kissed and all. Um, how much time is it okay to ask? If you've been together for 2 months, I think this is a perfect time. How do I find? Yeah, Wazo, you're asking some very good questions. How do I find my strengths if I don't feel passionate or disciplined about anything right now? What did you enjoy as a kid? What do you feel gravitated towards? What topic have you briefly heard about before that you've never looked into, but it's like, oh, that seems a little interesting? What are we talking about on this TikTok live right now that you find interesting? That could be a good place to start. It was a great episode too. Very. Oh, Joe, you watched the new podcast? No way. That's awesome. I made that podcast like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years by this point. That's actually I made that podcast so long. Also, like I have about 25 podcasts on the back end I've done with people in different fields and industries. So over the next like 2 months, I'm gonna be rolling out those like once a week. So yeah, the today's was with Mark Holman. He does a lot of like men's testosterone, mental health, things that are killing your testosterone, and a lot of very informative stuff on there. Kind of like a lot of the basics to like certain types of clothing we're wearing, foods we're consuming, containers we're drinking out of. It's like one of the biggest things. Stop drinking out of plastic. Not sponsored, but get a glass water bottle. And they did studies, and every single Poland spring, doesn't matter if the water is good quality, every single plastic water bottle you drink out of has at least between 100 and 150 microplastics in it. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, Brad, if that has microplastics in it and I quit that, but there's other things that I'm still consuming that I can't control right now that have microplastics, what's the point? You do what you can, right? It's like some of my friends have said, oh, Brad, you drink out of a glass water bottle, it's goofy, but like you're still wearing this once in a while and doing that and it has that in it. It's like, look, I'm making progress here. We're not perfect. But I'm glad you liked it, Joe. It was actually what someone I had on a podcast a year and a half ago reached out to me 2 days ago just asking how I'm doing, and it made me think to myself, actually, I was going to make the podcast exclusive to our men's group, which obviously you're in, Joe. But I'm like, you know what? Let me just put these out to the public. That's what my intention was, and I just never did it. So let's just roll all these out. And maybe I'm thinking of actually doing, after all of these 25 plus episodes are rolled out that I've already recorded as podcast, starting to do like a once a week podcast that I always release just for the sake of doing it to help people out. How do I know he's being genuine and won't hurt me, especially considering I'm trans? Okay. Well, to know if somebody's being genuine and won't hurt you, it's not possible to be 100% certain of that, but if you've been with this person for 2 months and they're constantly showing up for you, caring about you, and constantly doing things for you, there's a high chance that if this has been going on for 2 months, they care about you. But if you start to bring up the idea of commitment and they run away, that shows you that they don't want to be with you. I have a problem. I'm very emotional, and because of this, no girl is interested in me. This is a good question or statement. You have to understand your sensitivity and your emotions. Now, here's the thing: if you are emotional and you cry 24 times a day, yes, women aren't going to be attracted to you. If your parent passed away, if you're going through some rough times and you're feeling a little bit sad and emotions are coming up, and your girl leaves you because of that, she was never fully committed to you. Like again, yes, a woman will if she can't trust you to be secure in your own body and mind, she can't trust you to lead and guide her, of course. So that's why she becomes unattracted to you and leaves. But if again, if no girls, you say no girls interested in you, how many girls have you showed this part of yourself to? Chances are it's 1 or 2, not 200. If it's 200, maybe we can change the behavior. But if it's 1 or 2, might not have been the right people for you. Is it late to do a workout? It's 1 a.m. I usually do it at this time since I don't want to be interrupted. It's not too late to do it. Yeah, you can do it at whatever time you want. Oh, you did the workout anyways. I'll check out your podcast tomorrow. Sounds good. Yeah, I was trying to post the podcast on my story on TikTok so like other people can do it, but TikTok doesn't let you like put external links on your stories, unfortunately. So I couldn't post it for you guys on here. But yeah. What's the best way to deal with intrusive thoughts, especially the scary ones that disturb you? Allow them to be there. Imagine them like clouds. Close your eyes and imagine that concept or that thought that bothers you on a cloud. And imagine the cloud just slowly floating by. It doesn't zoom, doesn't go at a snail's pace, but it just slowly goes by. You acknowledge it's there. You see it. You feel it. You experience it. But you don't hold on to it. You don't judge it. You don't feel guilt and shame around it. You allow it to pass. Right? It's kind of like those intrusive thoughts where you're in traffic and you're driving like 70 miles an hour and you're just like, no, of course you're not actually going to do that. But it's like the brain has intrusive thoughts. It happens sometimes. Sometimes I, in my waking reality, I question myself. Also in my lucid dreaming work, it's kind of probed me to do that. But sometimes I'm just going throughout my day and I just stop and I'm like, am I dreaming right now? Is this TikTok live even real? Like that comes up for me genuinely sometimes. Instead of judging it and being like, oh my God, you're delusional, Brad. It's like, oh no, I'm here. I'm not dreaming, right? Just reassure yourself. Drew said, thanks so much. Yeah, of course. Feel free to shoot me a follow. Would love to see you back here. At a young age, relationships shouldn't be your main priority. Just focus on your goals. I do not agree with that. Yes, focus on your goals, number one, but do not reject relationships if you're at a young age. It can be a great way to start to interact with this. Like relationships aren't reserved for people once they're in their 20s. Like you can start dating before then, right? A lot of the people that say just focus on your goals, don't focus on women, have never been in a successful relationship. That's why they're giving you advice to do that. And Blitzkrieg, I'm not like targeting you in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that's a lot of like what usually comes up in advice like that. Yeah, you're actually wild, C4. I literally just said you can't put the links in the story, and now you're like, how do I put the links on this? Bro, you're a legend. You're a legend, bro. You're a legend. Sky, hey, coach, thank you. Yeah, of course, Sky. You're very welcome. I know we were going back and forth in the DMs. What do you think a teen should do if they haven't clarified what they want to do in their future? Start to do an exceptional amount of research on what you might be connected to and what you want to try out in your life. Don't put pressure on yourself, but take time to do it. Good night, man, or good morning here. Yeah, it's evening for me, but good night. All right, I finally got to the bottom of the comment section. Appreciate you guys. All right, everybody. If you guys have enjoyed this TikTok live, feel free to shoot me a follow. Would love to see you guys back in here. Let's have someone on the panel. Why not? Haven't done it in a long time. 17 years old, have never had a girlfriend, and life was good even without relationships. Well, that's good, but doesn't mean that other people shouldn't be in relationships because you haven't, right? What's going on, man?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good.
How can I help?
Yeah, I need a little life advice on like dating, relationship kind of stuff.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I've been alone for like a year now, and I'm just really wanting like a big booty blonde sitting on my bed right now, and I just don't have it. How do I like get a big booty blonde in my bed?
Are you looking for a hookup experience, or you actually want a relationship?
Well, you know what? Right now, it don't matter. Whatever the big booty blonde wants, that's all I care about.
All right, next question. How do I handle when my 25-year-old son wants to go no contact? Well, it's a good question to really dive into seeing why does your son not want to talk to you? That's a really good thing to dive into because that's not I don't know why like yeah why is that going on? And Jill, yeah, shoot me a DM about this. All right, everybody. I appreciate your presence. I'm gonna hop off the live for the evening. We've been on here for about an hour and a half. If you've loved what we talk about, feel free to shoot me a follow. We go live 7 days a week. Um, and if you're a woman who's focusing on self growth in their lives, I run a free women's group. We meet Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to shoot me a follow or shoot me a DM about that. I'd love to get you guys in there. And I run a men's group too. So anybody, and I do free intro coaching sessions for people who are struggling with stuff. So feel free to shoot me a message, guys. Looking forward to connecting. And I'll see you guys for the TikTok live tomorrow. I love you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your